Hi, I'm Mike Harrington, and in 2014, I embarked on a health journey resulting in my losing over 200 pounds on my own. Since then, I've been sharing my story and have become an advocate for healthy living. Welcome to Mike Inspires Me, a podcast show about health, wellness, and amazing people to inspire you to take charge of your life and your health. I was thinking the other day about how often you hear when people go on a diet and lose weight, that a large majority of those people, after a period of time, gain the weight back, and unfortunately, sometimes even more. Now, I've read statistics, and you've probably heard them too, the rate at which people, or the percentage of people who regain the weight back after losing it all is in the 80, and I've seen upwards of 90 to 95%. So that's not real good in terms of people who are able to, continue and sustain the weight loss. And hey, let's face it, isn't that what you'd want? And that really is today what I wanted to talk about with today's subject, weight loss. What you do after matters most. I don't think anybody sets out on a diet plan, a weight loss plan, and whatnot with failure in mind. I think obviously we go forward, and let's face it too, there's a large percentage of people who start and get frustrated and quit, right? And it's diets and restrictive eating and changing what we like to do is never fun, right? And, when we feel deprived, we get frustrated, we get resentful, everybody around you is eating cake, while you're eating an apple. And of course, they're eating the most delicious cake that was ever served in the world, and you just happen to be on your diet. And I've been there. I've been that guy. I've been there. I'm sure a lot of you guys have too. And it's not a life that's fun, is it? Because the sad part is, and I see this all the time, is people do this over and over and over again. I got to go on my diet. I got to lose weight. And, I'm not saying when we gain weight, we shouldn't try to lose it. But I think what helps is trying to get a mind shift in maintaining your health and what it means, and probably a better, more sustainable way to do it. I've had debates on whether gaining and losing weight, especially through the seasons, is good or bad. I keep kind of pushing back on it, and I know many health professionals might say, well, you gain weight and you're at risk of certain metabolic and all kinds of different things. And you are, right? I mean, more weight you carry, the more fat you carry and around your abdomen and around your organs, you certainly are at health risk. And the science is there, and we know these things. Okay. I was just listening to a podcast today on fatty liver disease too, which is quickly becoming a big problem, even sadly amongst children here. But I digress. I think the biggest thing that I see where people fail is that they have a sort of once and done mindset. And you've heard me talk about this before, but they don't think about the life after. And I've written about this. I've talked about it. I've probably mentioned it in interviews. I wasn't even prepared fully for what happened, quote, after with me. So when I lost 200 pounds and decided that was enough, 209 pounds actually, and that I was going to start, stop pushing myself to lose weight and start maintaining. One big difference and one key thing about this journey over any others that I've done and any that most people do, is I was determined to never go back. Have I gained weight? Yes, and not significant amount, but some. And you know, the thing that I keep emphasizing is that I didn't know where I was supposed to land. I mean, certainly the sad part is at 5 foot 10 inches tall. The only guidance I have is these outdated, antiquated, ridiculous charts that say my top weight should be 170 pounds. I got down to 194, and you've probably seen pictures out there. I know many of my family and friends were telling me, you look too skinny. And truthfully, I know with the weight loss, not all of it was fat loss, right? But I certainly reduced a lot of mass off of my body. So however I needed to do it, I got there. It's not always a perfect science. At the end of the day, I did what most can't. But that's not to discourage you, because there is a life where, you don't have to do it so crazy, but you can get yourself there. You got yourself the other way, little by little, and you can get yourself back. But you do have to, make some changes. It takes some work. Losing weight, losing fat off your body does take a calorie deficit. And honestly, I advocate for, not so much depriving yourself, but replacing stuff. Try to eat a lot more lower calorie, high nutrient, high fiber foods. And obviously some of those are vegetables. Those are some of the best things, especially, things that, that are full of water and good fiber. Those things are very filling, and you won't feel as hungry. So we're not going to get into diet here today. The topic, of course, is what you do after matters most. So here's an interesting thing that I hear often, and I'm not picking with you guys that have said this to me. It's by far, because I can actually do the same thing too, is people will tell me, so they've gained a bunch of weight back, but they'll tell me, yeah, I once lost 60 pounds, 100 pounds on X diet or this and that. And I that's great, but you gained it all back. And I don't say that, of course. My mind is going there, but I'm thinking, well, let me tell you how I do handle it, because I think you'll appreciate it. Is what I usually say is, that's great. That shows you can do it. But what do we need to do so that you don't have to keep doing it, right? You have to keep, going back on a diet and then having so a lot of times when people ask me about my opinion of certain diets, or weight loss plans, I've been asked about, I'm not going to name names, but various products for weight loss. And hey, I suppose for a lot of people, there's a lot of success with different weight loss programs. And those are great, because let's face it, another thing, very few people can do what I did and do it on your own. It's not an easy thing to do it without a coach, without a program. I just tracked my food and reduced over time, right? And another time you can read my story, but the point really is that I had to be ready to hit the ground running phase 2 after I lost all the weight. And I think people, when I say to them, well, what are you going to do after? When they tell me about a diet program or weight loss program or a diet, they look at me like they hadn't thought about it. And I know they haven't thought about it. All they're thinking about, again, bless you guys, because it's good that you're thinking about improving your health, is getting from A to B. I got to lose 20 pounds, okay? Which, I'll be honest with you, I probably could lose 20 pounds. But the point is, because it's a lot easier to lose 20 pounds when you're 400 pounds than when you're down closer to 200 like me. But the point is, if you're only focused on that and you're not thinking about, okay, now I've shed this weight, And honestly, 20 pounds probably isn't as critical as, if you lose 200 pounds, you can't eat like the 400-pound guy anymore. I think that's what I'm trying to get at here. I couldn't live the same way that I lived before. And so when I ask people about what are you going to do after, I'm serious, because you got to be prepared to make some changes if you want to sustain what you did. Why go and lose 100 pounds to gain it back, or 70 pounds or 50 pounds and gain it back? Why go through all that effort? It's sad. I mean, you've proven you can do it, but the hardest part, and I'm living it because I've been doing this now for 7 years, is being here. The day I stopped losing the weight was when the job began. That's when the real work came. Okay, let's see if Mike can do this. Well, guess what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to continue doing it. I'm not going back. I understood this journey when I started on day one. The most important thing about all this is I was going to do it. And I didn't know how the heck I was going to. And the fact that I got there today, that I'm here today, still amazes me. But nonetheless, I knew if I ever get there, I ain't going back. I wasn't about to go lose 200 pounds and then go back. Heck no. And I'm sorry. I know some people have done that. Some people have had surgery. I've known many people, and it's sad, to go through and get your innards cut up and rerouted and whatever else they do, and then go and gain the weight back that you spent thousands of dollars of surgery or your insurance did, and going through some medical problems with it. Now, I know a lot of people have had success, and that's great. That's exactly what we want. I know a lot of people who have, and that's important, because that goes back to another principle I say. And I said this today to my wife. I was like, it matters less about how you get there. Matters most is what you do after. And, I like to use this example about Penn Jillette, the comedian magician guy, Penn and Teller. Apparently, he went on a diet, and I can't remember what time period, but he ate potatoes for a period of time, and he lost 100 pounds. Fantastic. There's a lot of question that comes in my mind about what other nutrients, was he taking vitamins, whatever, you got to do what you got to do. It worked apparently. And the recent picture, I think he's been able to sustain, but that's important, right? See, to me, if you're just eating, what are you learning? See, part of my transition was relearning new skills, having to go back and say, all right, I needed to understand my eating a little bit better and what I was getting in and nutrients wise today. And then maybe I need to tweak it. I mean, there were glaring, obvious deficits in my health. I had to learn about some of those things, because something, if you're going to own something and you're the one to have to maintain it, like a car, right? And say you're the one that's got to fix it. Well, you better read the owner's manual. And you need to have a basic understanding of nutrition in order to be healthy. I mean, there's a lot of crap out there, and there's a lot of crap information. There's a lot of crap food and things to screw up your health. Honestly, I kind of like to have a balance in between, sort of, okay, I know there's the naughty things I like to have, and trying to be better about my eating, because I know I have a tendency to go the other way, to use food for the wrong reasons, not for, let's face it, how many of us just eat for the nutrition, right? We eat for pleasure. And that's why we eat a lot of things, sweet and spicy and salty and crispy and all those things. We like that. You're not going to stop liking those things. And that's the hard part. You always hear me, and I say this, I didn't stop loving cookies, right? So I can have them. But I couldn't eat them. I couldn't eat as many as I used to, because I don't want to gain back everything that I worked so hard to lose, all that work. If there's any way I can help you, if you're on a health journey now, or you want to go on a health journey, or you want to talk to me about it, please reach out to me. Let's talk about this, because it makes me sad to see somebody go through all of that work. Well, and I don't even care no matter how you do it. If you want to have weight loss surgery and you want to talk to me, I'm not against. I have my reservations about it. I may try to, to tell you, there are other ways, but if you're going to do that, that's great. And if it gets you there, that's great. Or whatever, program you go on. Okay. If you do that and you want to understand my philosophy on, okay, that's great. Now you're here. Get ready to do the work. I mean, in my opinion, this is why I say it. And I know a lot of these programs do teach this stuff, and the surgery programs teach this stuff, is that you have to learn nutrition and skills in order to sustain. You got to learn that you need some physical activity to be able to keep your body in a good state and to be able to keep yourself healthy. We need to move. You know me, I'm a big advocate of hiking and walking. That's a great way to get all the senses stimulated and healthy without a huge amount of impact on our bodies. I recommend weightlifting and weight training for all. It's good. It doesn't have to be crazy. I have friends who do the crazy stuff, and I have friends, who do some light stuff. It's great. It's good for your body. But those things need to come part of your life too. And I'm not, listen, it sounds like I'm preaching in some ways, and I am, because heck, that's what I do. But on the other hand, I'm telling you the reality. You can't just think you're going to go do it and then sit back and do what you always did. If you always do what you always did, you're always going to get what you always got. So if you go back to what you always did, you're going to get what you got before. Capiche? You get what I'm saying? Boy, I feel like I'm on a soapbox today, but it's a passionate thing for me, because this is the thing that makes me sad. I've been there. There was a time, I think I was in my maybe early mid 20s, and I had lost 100 pounds. I don't talk about it much. You know why? Because I gained it back. I was, when I started this last journey, the final journey, I was 400 and something pounds, maybe even as high as 450. All right. So, for me to go and say, well, I had many times through my adulthood that I lost massive amounts of weight, but the problem was I didn't look at it. Now here, you get ready, because you see this building up. What it took me 17 minutes to get here. It has to be a lifestyle. Health is a lifestyle, but I don't like to call it that, because it sounds trendy. It sounds kind of just, nobody wants to, I don't want to change my lifestyle. Well, I got news for you. Okay. So when it comes down to making choices in your life, you choose what that level of healthiness is that you want. If you want to still be able to smoke cigarettes, be healthy, let's look at the statistics. Let's face it. You know me, because I've lost family members, including my father, to cigarette smoking. So there's health consequences, right? So you make choices. If you feel you need those things, I don't advocate that stuff, but you are the one that's ultimately the captain of your own ship. And, if you want, you can have your cake and eat it too in some ways, but then you can't. Listen, there are people out there who are lucky and can do all these crazy things, and for some reason it doesn't affect their health. George Burns smokes cigars until lives to 100. All right. But statistically, most people who smoke end up with problems. COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, which is otherwise known as emphysema, horrible disease. Let me tell you, horrible. I'm not going to preach on it now, but I've had several family members, including my father, who had it. But going back to what I was saying, boy, I got off track. is really around the thought process when you begin your journey or health plan or your diet or whatever you're doing, is being prepared that when you're done losing weight, because you can't just keep losing weight forever, but when you finally decide that you're done, now what are you going to do? Because what you do after matters the most. Think about it. I'm here for you. Please reach out to me if you have any questions about this stuff. I'm very passionate about it, and I'm excited to be here every time that I do one of these, and I hope you enjoy it. If you have any questions for me, would you like to be on the show? We've got a story that we can share, inspirational story, or if you're a health expert, doctor, fitness professional, whatnot, Mike at MikeInspiresMe.com is one of the best ways to get a hold of me. And I don't know if those are still, I should add in, you can also reach me at MikeInspiresMe@gmail.com. And actually, I'm not going to edit this out. I'll leave them both out there. But I had switched my email account, so I may still not be getting them directly from the old Mike at MikeInspiresMe.com. So maybe send it to both, and we'll see which one I get. That's all for today. I hope you'd enjoyed this episode, and please take care of yourself. That's why we're here, is to be healthy and happy, and I hope you are too. Get out there and do something for yourself today and tomorrow. Enjoy your life and stay awesome. Hey friends, if you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. First of all, it's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will then distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Mike Inspires Me podcast. Stay tuned for future episodes and check out some of the past ones you may have missed. For more information on me and my story, go to MikeInspiresMe.com. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Mike Harrington Official and on Twitter at Mike Inspires Me. Stay healthy and stay awesome.